Good morning, everybody. So I think we studied what is the importance of carbon and why it is special compared to other elements. So there is a versatile nature of carbon. It's what totally four reasons why carbon is unique, which is actually having a special characters like which is not shown by the any other elements. And I have told you that either the substance is made up of carbon or not. Like the presence of carbon in a given compound can be detected by a test, call it as a burning test. Am I right, everybody? Please respond. So if you do the burning test, then you will understand either it is carbon is present or not in a given substance. So what is happening? All the living organisms and the materials like cloth, materials like books, material like food items, everything they are actually organic compounds. So means they are compounds of carbon. So if it is a compounds of carbon, that is what we used to call it as a organic compounds. So if they are the organic compounds, they will burn in oxygen, in the presence of oxygen or in oxygen. What they will give everybody? They will burn and they will produce something. What will happen, all of you? They will produce what gas? Carbon dioxide gas. So now this carbon dioxide, if it releases, how will come to know? Will pass through the what? Everybody? Yes, please. Which will turns what, guys? Which will turns lime water into what?
Milky.
Milk. So that is what is the deduction of organic compound. That is what either the carbon is present or not in a given substance, we can identify with the help of burning test. So if you want, for example, so if you take the carbon dioxide, for normally you can see carbon dioxide react with the lime water. So lime water means what is the formula, everybody? From the chapter 1 we are studying. Lime water, calcium hydroxide. So it will turn up into what, guys? CaCO3, calcium carbonate plus it will form the what? Water. So turn up into milky. Milky means in the sense of what is formation? Formation of calcium carbonate. So that is what indicating that carbon dioxide releasing. So carbon dioxide releasing or not, you can see. So if you burn any kind of gas or whatever it is, for example, I have taken a methane. So if I take the methane one, if I burn it, so I'll get it what actually? Carbon dioxide plus I will get the water vapor. So this is what is indicating that. So methane is a carbon compound. So methane contains the carbon. If it will burns in the presence of oxygen or with the help of oxygen, so it will produce carbon dioxide plus water. These carbon dioxide which will react with the lime water. So lime water only we used to call it as a what, everybody? Calcium hydroxide. So it will form calcium carbonate plus water. That's what turns into milky. So now this is the most important, that identifying either it is made up of a carbon or not, means it's a carbon compound or not. With the help of burning test we can identify. So it is like unique, like number of compounds due to its unique properties. Like you can take, it is a tetravalent one. It is the bonds formation by them. It is a what bonds, everybody? Covalent bonds. And these covalent bonds are three types. What is the three types of covalent bonds, everybody? Single covalent bond. Next one, double covalent bond. And next one, what is studied? Triple covalent bond. And also see, carbon is having a special character that itself it can form single carbon carbon single bond, carbon carbon double bond, and carbon carbon triple bond. So that is the reason it will form multiple bond formation. That is one of the most important property of a carbon. So because of formation of multiple bonding, it can form millions of carbons. So that is why it will makes the carbon special from all other kind of elements. And also you can see, we have studied yesterday the versatile nature of carbon. You can notice it. So what is that, everybody? First important property, catenation. So what is the catenation? Also we can call it as, all of you, catenation also we can say what, all of you, self-linking. Am I right, everyone? So carbon and carbon itself, they can form a longest chains, and also it is long and straight chain compounds, long and branched chain compounds, long and continuous rings also. So that is the property which is not shown by any other organism, makes the carbon very unique. So they can form the compounds of carbon like continuously straight chain. Continuously they can form a straight chain compounds, or continuously they can form a branched chain compounds, or they can form even a ring chain compounds. So whatever they want, they can form based upon the arrangement, and even they can form multiple bonds. As I said, carbon carbon can form multiple bonds. Carbon carbon, that is what, single bond. Carbon carbon can form triple bond. Carbon carbon can form single bond. Like that, it itself, it can form the multiple bond formation. So that is what we can say, carbon is a special from every other organism. So now, if you have noticed it here, that is the characteristics of carbon, which is makes everything different from all other 118 elements. So that's what tendency of multiple bonds. And then isomers. So isomerism means, I will just idea, later we'll study. So totally 4 properties makes the 4 versatile character, makes the carbon unique. First property is catenation. So catenation is the most important. Also we can call it as a what, everybody? We can call it as a, yes please, self-linking, understanding, or self-combination also. So now, no other elements will source this like carbon, but there is another element which can source, that is what, Si bond, that is what, silicon bond, but it will be weaker, and the compounds also, stable or unstable, everybody, they are unstable. Do you understand? Up to 7 to 8 atoms it can be, but these compounds are very reactive. Very reactive means they are stable or unstable, everybody? They are unstable compounds. That is what you have to remember. And next one, carbon valency is 4. 4 means we used to call what valency it is, everybody? It is the tetravalency. So tetravalency of a carbon. So it cannot lose the 4 electrons, or it cannot gain the 4 electrons. It has to one and only way. What is the way for it, everybody? It needs to share the electron. Understand? So that is the second property. Next, tendency to form multiple bond formation. So here itself we can get it. So of course it will react with the different one gases like nitrogen, sulfur, chlorine, many other elements, and you can see they will form a strong bonds. Where is the multiple bonds formation? Yes, I think, yeah, first paragraph. You can notice it here. They can form a single bond, double bond, or triple bonds among themselves itself. That is what is the third property. Tendency to form multiple bond formation. Note it, everybody. Tendency to form multiple bonds. Multiple bonds. That is the name of the property. So what is the first property, everybody? What is the first property? Catenation. Second property is what? Tetravalence of a carbon. And third property is what, everybody? Tendency to form multiple bonds. And what is the fourth one, everybody? What is the fourth one? Isomerism. So isomerism means, simply I am saying you, so keep it in mind, same chemical formula, but different compounds. That is what it is. Remember, different structures and different properties. That is what we used to call it as a isomerism. We'll get it many things. Same chemical formula. Note it, everybody. Same chemical formula, but different structures and different properties. Different structures and properties. Do you understand, everybody, what I'm saying? So they are called it as a isomerism. So isomers, we used to say that phenomena is called it as a isomerism, and they are called it as a isomers. Of course, this is the most important concept entire chapter. We will study that whenever it will come. So this is what is about makes the carbon very unique from all other versatile nature of carbon. Sir, when they will ask you, please remember, when they will ask you about why carbon is special, what is the versatile characters of carbon, you have to write this one. That is what you have to remember. Are you clear, everybody? Please respond, everyone. So that is what. So if you notice it, for example, the best example if you want to give for the isomers, you can see, you can take the, suppose for example, NH4CNO, the compound name call it as a ammonium cyanate. Ammonium cyanate. So you can found the number of total number of hydrogens, carbons and all. So just if you heat it, no atoms will change, no new atoms will come. Everything just rearrangement of atoms will take place. What will take place, everybody? Just rearrangement of atoms will take place. Then we will get NH2CO NH2. That is what we used to call it as a urea. So if you check it, number of the same chemical formula, number of atoms are same. That chemical formula is remains same. But if you notice it, entirely different compound and entirely different structure, different properties. Ammonium cyanate is different properties, and urea is different properties. So this is what we used to call it as a isomerization. That phenomena is called it as isomerization. Are you clear, everyone? Please respond, all of you. Yes, please. Everybody? Clear? Hurry. Same chemical formula, but different structures they have and different chemical properties they have. So that is what you have to remember it. What is the isomerism? So these are the four characters which makes the carbon very special from the any other. Now, let us start the next concept. So next, we are going to study what are the types of these organic compounds. Of course, so organic compounds are made, the carbons, whatever it is. So if you take here, everybody, so we are having varieties of carbon compound, organic compounds or carbon compounds. So in that one by one, we will study. So if you take the types of organic compounds, so the first and most important organic compound is hydrocarbon. Second one is haloalkanes, which is actually halogenated hydrocarbons. Third one is alcohols. Of course, they are all functional groups. We'll discuss that, no worries. So fourth one is aldehydes. Fifth one is ketones. Sixth one is carboxylic acids. So also we can call it as a carboxylic acid, organic acid. So these are the known organic compounds in our class 10th. Everything we will get it. Definitely in the functional groups, each and everything is going to come for us. In that, the most important hydrocarbon, the most important organic compound is hydrocarbons. So we'll discuss what is this hydrocarbons and how it will be. That's all the things we are going to make it. And yesterday I have told you the most important thing which you have been underlined also. Remember, carbon can form three different bonds. What is that, everybody? Carbon can form single bond, carbon can form double bond, carbon can form triple bond. So if it is forming a single bond, carbon can form only single bond. Please underline this, between them. Carbon, it is having a single bond. Then they are called it as a saturated compound. Saturated compounds. Understanding, everybody? And carbon having either double or triple bonds between them. They are actually what, everybody? They are called it as a unsaturated compounds. So most important one, based upon this last year papers, there is a one MCQ question. Question number 7. I will show you. Very complicated question. Complicated means unless you have a complete idea, it is impossible to answer that question. So that is what is it is. Clear, everybody? So now, before going to start, as I said, the most important one is hydrocarbons. Now, before going to study that, so they are giving something regarding, there is a tabular column, you can notice it. So that is what is the melting and boiling points of some of compounds of carbons. That is what all of you keep adding. General properties of, and then we'll shift to the hydrocarbons. General properties of organic compounds. General properties of organic compounds. So what is that, everybody? First one, carbon compounds are what? Everybody, they are covalent compounds. So they are having what? Ionic compounds or covalent compounds? Carbon compounds. Everybody? Yes, please. I told you, yeah, they are having, you can see ionic compounds means they are having high melting and boiling points, and they are good conductors. They'll conduct the electricity in solution or in the molten state. But if you take, everyone, covalent compounds, carbon compounds are covalent compounds, so they're having low melting points and boiling points. First thing, write it. They are covalent compounds having chain of carbon atoms. Having chain of carbon atoms. Second one, they are generally volatile compounds. I told you already, volatile compounds. What do you mean by volatile? Anybody? What do you mean by volatile? Volatile compounds. What do you mean by volatile? Anybody? Can change the state easily. Can change state easily. For example, see, if I put 1 liter of petrol, this is petrol, and 1 liter of water. Can you tell me which one easily will turn up into gases? Anybody? Which is easily evaporate at the room temperature? You can notice it. Anybody? Can you hear me? All of you? I'm calling you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So which will evaporate easily? Swadhan, trust, listen, focus. So which will evaporate? Petrol easily will change its state. Am I right? Even when we are filling our tank, you can see the fumes are making. You can easily, it will converting into gaseous state. Am I right or wrong? Yes, please. So volatile substances means, remember, which can change the physical state very easily by changing the temperature small, which can change the state easily. They are called it as a volatile substances. So if it is a volatile substance, you can see all the carbon compounds, like you can take methanol, ethanol, acids, acetic acid, methane, butane, chloroform, everything they can change the physical state very easily. So that is why they are saying they are volatile compounds, and they are having low melting and boiling points. You can see compared to the ionic compounds, their boiling points and melting points are extremely lower. Do you understand, everybody? And you can see they have given here acetic acid, melting point is 290 Kelvin and boiling point is 391 Kelvin. So please convert this into degree Celsius also. because sometimes exam based upon the boiling point and melting point, you should identify the chemical compound. So you need to know this tabular column, entire melting points and boiling points. Please learn that. Okay. So on our another names also. Suppose if you take ethanol, ethanol also we can call it as a ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol. Okay. Methane, you can see. Methane means CH-4, smallest hydrocarbon. Of course, we are going to study. Next, acetic acid. Acetic acid, we all knows that. Also, we can call it as a what? Everybody. Ethanoic acid. Clear, everybody? Please respond, Amma. All of you. So now, chloroform. Chloroform also we can call it as a trichloromethane. Organic common names is very important. Trichloromethane. Clear? Next, ethanol over methanol. So methanol is the smallest alcohol family. So methanol or methyl alcohol. Already we got it in the chapter number 1. Am I right, everybody? Methanol, do you remember? Yes. So methanol boiling point is 338 and melting point is boiling point is 338 and melting point is 168 Kelvin. So please note it. That is also one of the important compound. So this is what they're having low melting points and boiling points compared to the what? Everybody. Compared to the which compounds? Compared to ionic compounds. Understand, Amma? That's why what you studied in chapter 3, they are mentioning here clearly differences between properties of ionic compounds and properties of covalent compounds. You must need to study, everybody. Clear? And all the carbon compounds, you can see, if they will burn it, they will produce what gas? Everybody. They will produce what gas? All of you. They'll produce carbon dioxide on burning. That is what burning test. Most important one. Next, they may burn with a luminous and non-luminous flame. That is also very important. Means they may be catch the fire and they will burn with the light, or they may be not catch the fire and they may be burned inside itself. That is what non-luminous. Without a flame or with a flame they can burn. Clear? And majority of the organic compounds, remember, majority of organic compounds derived from hydrocarbons. Note it, everybody. Organic compounds derived from hydrocarbons. So what is that, sir? If you have taken, I have told you organic compounds example. Totally how many I have told you? Everybody? 6 examples I have told you. In that you remember everything, all the thing, haloalkenes, aldehydes, carboxylic alcohols, ketones, everything are derivatives of hydrocarbons. Means from the hydrocarbons, just we are replacing and we are getting the remaining all the functional groups. Remember, everybody. So every majority of organic compounds we are deriving from hydrocarbons. That is why these all are called it as derivatives of hydrocarbons. That is what you have to remember. So these are the general properties of organic compounds, which is also very more important concepts. Now let us start the next concept. That is a very important concept. Call it as a hydrocarbons. Now from here, the chapter will goes to next level, and this is extremely important. Electron dot structure. Many things you have to learn from here. But once again, I'm saying you have to learn the single bond, single covalent bond, double covalent bond, and triple covalent bond from the carbons compounds only. And electron dot structure of methane also they have given in the allotropes of carbon page. So please go through that and you learn. Whenever the time permits, I will explain the structure of diamond and structure of graphite and next one, fullerenes. Okay. So now let us start with the hydrocarbons. All of you keep heading, everyone. Hydrocarbons. So keep in mind, all of you, hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons means only 2 elements has to be present in the compound. So that is what we used to call it as a hydrogen and carbon. If any kind of compounds contains only 2 elements, one is what, everybody? One is, yes please.
Hydrogen.
One
and
is
carbon.
hydrogen and another one is what? All of you.
Carbon.
Carbon. That's all. So a compound made up of hydrogen and carbon only is called hydrocarbons. So please write it. So hydrocarbons means made up of only hydrogen. Please remember, no other. Hydrogen and carbon. Made up of hydrogen and carbon is called hydrocarbons. Clear? So no other substances are present. So the most important natural source for hydrocarbons. No, most important source of natural source for hydrocarbons is crude oil. That is what? Petroleum. Also we can call it as a crude oil. This is the most important source. Millions of, okay, Harish, we'll see that. Millions of hydrocarbons, we'll get it from this only. Clear, everybody? So it is only made up of 2 elements. Only made up of 2 elements. What are the 2 elements, all of you? One is hydrogen and another one is what? All of you. Yes, please. Another one is carbon. No other. Can you, is it my voice is audible, everybody? Please respond. Yes, Harish? Yeah. So any kind of compound, it contains only 2. That is what? Hydrogen and carbon. That is call it as a hydrocarbons. Now, these hydrocarbons, you remember, they are maybe open chain or maybe they are closed chain. So as I said already, carbon can form straight chain, carbon can form branched chain, carbon can form ring structure. So ring structure is called it as a closed chain. Ring structure is called it as a, what chain we used to call it as? Ring structure we used to call it as a closed chain. Please remember anything. So it may be form a open chain also, it may be form a closed chain also, no problem. So hydrocarbons are organic compounds made up of only carbon and hydrogen. And they are the hydrates of carbon. Keep it in mind, they are the hydrates of carbon in which each carbon atom shows and maintains how much valency? Each carbon, how much valency? Check it, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each carbon will maintain how much valency, everybody? Each carbon shows, maintains how much valency, Ra? What is the valency of a carbon?
4.
4.
That is what? 4 covalency. 4 covalency. That is what we used to call it as a tetracovalency. Please note it. So they will always, each carbon has to satisfy how many bonds? Everybody? Each carbon has to satisfy how many bonds? All of you? 4 bonds. Understand, everybody? So the other organic compounds, if you have taken, like which is derived from hydrocarbons, as I said. What is the derived from hydrocarbons? Aldehydes, haloalkenes, alcohols, ketones, and carboxylic acid. Everything just replacement of hydrogen, either one or more hydrogens of hydrocarbons. That's all. So basically hydrocarbons made up of what, guys? Everybody? Hydrocarbons made up of what?
Hydrogen
and carbon.
Carbon and hydrogen. Now, each carbon has to satisfy how many valency? Everybody?
4 values.
4 valency. Remember, everybody, don't get confused. Valency or covalency, both are same. Clear, everybody? Valency or covalency. Capacity to combine is call it as a valency. Capacity to combine is only covalency. Rendu the same. Confusion venda. Covalency or valency, both are same. What is the capacity to combine? So always carbon shows what valency? Everybody? Carbon need to satisfy how much? Keep it in mind. Every carbon need to satisfy how much, guys? 4 valency.
4 valency.
That is why carbon is a what? Tetravalency. Tetravalency. That is why it is one of the special. Now, in hydrocarbons, if I will replace one hydrogen or more than one hydrogen with some other element, maybe with oxygen, maybe with the sulfur, maybe with the chlorine, some other XYZ, then that is only ways to get it derivatives of hydrocarbons, means remaining all the substances just by replacing, not by carbon. Keep it in mind. We will get the derivatives of hydrocarbons by replacing what? Everybody? By replacing hydrogen from the hydrocarbons. That is what we are going to do it in later classes. Now we are discuss only about the hydrocarbons. So what is the main source of hydrocarbons? Everybody? What is the main source of hydrocarbons? Everyone? Petroleum.
Petroleum.
Okay. Now these hydrocarbons is classified into 2 groups. Write it, everybody. Hydrocarbons are classified into 2 types. One is saturated hydrocarbons. And next one is unsaturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons, and another one is what, everyone? Unsaturated hydrocarbons. Okay, clear, everybody? All of you? Who is this Itachi? I'm removing it. Rename it or else I will remove it. So saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Keep it in mind. Now I am saying you. Whenever you heard a word, wherever it is, doesn't matter. It is whatever it is. If it is the saturated, keep it in mind, they are single covalent bonds. What is that? Saturated means, everybody? They are having what? Carbon having the, please respond, single covalent bonds. Single covalent bonds. Who is having single covalent bonds? That is important. All the carbons. If you miss this word,